Thank you very much, Dr. Pratap, for that kind introduction. So good afternoon once again. So it's my pride and honor to be given this opportunity to be part of this very prestigious Simeo session and to share the results of our humble study. So our study is entitled Implementation of the TB.dot Strategy in Selected Urban Health Centers of Manila Before and During the COVID-19 Pandemic. So to begin, tuberculosis or TB, as we all know, is recognized as one of the leading infectious killers globally. Despite the establishment of the National TB Control Program in the country, or the NTP, and the implementation of TB.dots, or the Directly Observed Treatment Short Course, which is the main prevention and control strategy in the country, in 1986, TB remains a significant public health concern in the country. In fact, the country is the fourth largest contributor to global TB cases, consistently ranking among the top 30 highest burden countries for drug-susceptible TB, multi-drug-resistant TB, and HIV-associated TB since 2016. With the emergence of novel COVID-19 pandemic, the Philippines' capacity to provide TB care services was also affected, causing a drop in the drug-susceptible TB treatment success rate from 86% in 2019 to 76% in 2020. With this, can the Philippines still reach its goal of being TB-free by 2030? How did the country respond to this challenge? Hence, we find this significant and did this study. There was insufficient information on the changes made in the implementation of TB.dot strategy during the COVID-19 pandemic. The research aimed to explore the changes and adaptations made by the urban health centers in one of the cities of the country, which is Mandaluyong City, in the implementation of TB.dot strategy before and during the COVID-19 pandemic. Specifically, it aimed to describe the implementation of TB.dots in terms of treatment initiation, monitoring, management, and assigning treatment outcomes. Second is to determine the barriers and facilitators in its implementation. And finally, the study also aimed to describe the interventions that have been employed to improve the implementation of TB.dots during that time. So to do this, we have this following methodology. So to achieve these objectives, a case study design was employed. We did key informant interview to 14 participants, and they were invited as KII with the 2 National TB Control Program coordinators serving as informants on the administrative aspect of TB.dots, and the other 12 from the 4 urban health centers being informants on the actual implementation of the strategy during that time. So these other 12 informants consist of public health nurses, midwives, and even barangay health workers, or BHWs. So a semi-structured questionnaire was utilized for the KIIs as seen on this screen. And we also did document review of the TB master list and registers to assess the presence, completeness, organization, and accuracy of the records. So data were collected and then processed using a deductive-inductive approach following the framework of Braun and Clark as shown in this slide. So to ensure trustworthiness and credibility, the researchers have undergone training and conducted pre-testing and expert validation of the data collection tool. Member checking was also practiced during and after the interviews, as well as after the collation of the initial results. So for the results and discussion, in response to the first objective, so before and during the COVID-19 pandemic, TB.dots implementation in that particular city largely followed the guidelines in the National TB Control Program Manual of Procedures, with some modifications to accommodate to patients' needs, healthcare workers' experience, and system-specific considerations. So this table shows that given the pivotal role of treatment initiation, all the steps were rigorously followed and implemented even during the time of COVID-19. So it was strictly done in the healthcare center to ensure that patients still receive quality service despite of the condition of the country. So we can see here that before COVID-19, all of these steps in the initiation of the TB treatment were followed, and also during the COVID-19, despite of the pandemic, was still implemented. On the other hand, in terms of treatment monitoring, it was observed that there were some changes, and the lockdown prompted cessation of house visitations. As we all know, in the Philippines, we had a strict lockdown during the early parts of the pandemic, and this somehow had an impact in the treatment monitoring of TB patients. So the lockdown prompted cessation of house visitations and shift to digital monitoring using online video call platforms. So in the country, we usually give the anti-TB medications to the patients directly, but during the pandemic, since most of the people are just inside the house in their respective houses, so we shifted, so this practice was stopped and we just shifted to digital monitoring. Medications were provided in advance to eliminate the need for daily health center visits of the patients. So patient management for treatment interruptions were also consistent before and during the pandemic. However, one modification that happened during the pandemic is that the counseling, which was previously done by the TB team, was now transferred to TB Task Force. We have this TBTF, which is a group of volunteers who work solely in TB dots, as some of the members of the TB team, like the barangay health workers, were reassigned to other COVID-related tasks. So finally, no changes were noted in the assignment of treatment outcomes, as the definition of assignments did not differ, as we can see here in this table. So to answer the specific objective 2, so identifying the barriers and facilitators which brought about these changes. So shown in the screen are the identified barriers in the implementation of TB dots during the COVID-19 pandemic. So starting with patient hesitancy. So this is the actual quote that we got from the key informant interview. So we don't put the actual name, but just the description of the participant. So she's a 44-year-old healthcare worker who has 4 years in service in rendering TB service. So according to this, quote, patient hesitancy, health workers observe reluctance among patients to begin or return for treatment, primarily due to the fear of contracting other diseases, specifically COVID-19 at the health center. So as we all know, during the pandemic, we don't think of the other diseases except for COVID-19. So that's one of the effects, particularly in the TB treatment. So another barrier was accessibility issues. Healthcare workers cannot reach the patient anymore due to their sudden change in residence. This is the actual quote from one of the key informants, and the one in italics is in our local language, or in Filipino. So another huge barrier is healthcare worker burnout. So during the pandemic, some barangay health workers took an additional COVID-related task alongside their regular workload, leading to increased physical exhaustion. Additionally, guidelines restricting the mobility of elderly barangay health workers worsened staff shortages, intensifying the strain on these particular healthcare workers. So the next barrier is the poor physical infrastructure. So as we can see in this quote, most health centers do not have dedicated area for TB dots activities, which makes it difficult to counsel patients. Again, because of the pandemic, it was shifted all to COVID-related services. So services that should be allotted for TB was somehow set aside. So next problem was in terms of information technology, wherein healthcare workers reported issues with accessing the online registry of the TB dots called Integrated Tuberculosis Information System, or the ITIS. So another barrier identified in this study is the scarcity, particularly among human resources. So this was caused by staff shortage, which was worsened during the pandemic due to some healthcare workers acquiring the disease, and unfortunately some succumbing to death also. So there was also shortages in terms of PPEs, due to the inadequacy, for example, of face masks during the pandemic. So finally, in barrier, the interruption in healthcare delivery, so which was caused by the imposition of lockdowns and quarantine restrictions during the pandemic, making it more difficult for patients to access the health center and for providers to conduct house-to-house visitations. So in terms of facilitators, so despite of the barriers, the study also found out that there were facilitators in the implementation of TB Dots despite of the pandemic. So starting with the patient's desire to recover. So healthcare workers reported that patients' motivation, which can be due to fear of death or fear of infecting loved ones, prompted them to continue receiving treatment. So despite of the scare of the pandemic, they felt that they still need to receive the TB treatment that they require. So next is the healthcare workers' desire to serve, so which stems from the healthcare workers' passion for their work or sometimes close relationship with the patient. So another facilitator is the effective linkages in the continuum of care. So this facilitated implementation of fostering seamless coordination throughout the healthcare system. So lastly, last facilitator identified was healthcare workers noted good governance of the TB control program in that particular city. So this was largely exhibited by the local government units' proactive approach in ensuring a steady supply of medicinal resources and the enactment of TB-specific ordinances. So answering the last objective, so let's now move on to the results of the third objective, the description of the interventions. So these interventions are divided into three based on the initiatives that were identified. So first is the health worker funded initiatives, which are initiatives organized by the healthcare workers themselves to provide financial support to the patient as a direct response to the systemic limitations. So as we can see here in this interview, one of the participants, a healthcare worker, said that treatment providers themselves shell out and finance the courier services just for the patients to receive their medications. So another intervention was the LGU, or the local government units funded initiatives, which refer to programs, projects, and directives by the local government, specifically the City Health Department. Lastly, externally driven initiative. This is for the LGU funded initiatives. For example, the city invested in hiring additional nurses since most of them were assigned to undertake COVID-related tasks. So the last intervention was the externally driven initiatives, which are funded by international or local private stakeholders. So it was mentioned that whenever they find their resources lacking, they could just request the necessary resources from their network of partners who consistently step up to provide the required support. So for example, we have private partners like USAID, PDSP, and Pullion. So this figure on the screen presents the summary of the findings of this study, detailing the barriers, facilitators, and interventions involved in each step of TB Dots, starting from TB initiation, treatment initiation, monitoring, management, and assignment of treatment outcomes. So with all of this, the study concluded that the pandemic has altered the landscape surrounding TB Dots delivery, urging the healthcare workers and the whole system to adapt to ensure that patients continue to receive the highest standard of care despite of the COVID-19. These efforts in Mandaluyong City emphasize the importance of a resilient and flexible healthcare system that can effectively respond to unforeseen challenges and continue delivering quality care to TB patients. So I just would like to acknowledge all the members of the research team, so from the Philippines, and these are our references. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Rosas, for shedding light on the challenges and adaptation in TB Dots implementation during the pandemic, and your analysis also provide valuable lessons for urban health strategies for the TB control. Any questions from the floor? Yes, please.
Good afternoon po. I'm Kurt Andre Pangilinan from the Philippines. I'm currently studying Faculty of Tropical Medicine. So thank you for that wonderful presentation because it kind of hits close to home because before I worked at an infection control unit, so I was the one responsible for reporting TB cases in my area. So regarding the results of your study, especially the one that I am concerned about is two things. The first one is the IT system, and the second one is the health worker related intervention. So first, the health worker related intervention is they use out of pocket money, right? So ideally, it's not idealistic for us because we do have the budget to do that. Did this study reach out to the relevant authorities already regarding that kind of problems?
Thank you, sir. Can I have your name?
Kian.
Kian. Thank you, Kian, for that comment and for that question also. So this is just a very small study, as you can see here, a very small sample size. But part of our study is to report back to whatever results we had after doing this study to the study site. So we were able to report the results to the Mandaluyong City Health Office, and they have noted what they have done. But during the pandemic, we have the different scenario and more of helping. So it helped us to show the kindness in every people during the pandemic, maybe the silver lining during the pandemic. So the healthcare worker initiative was actually reported to the administrators, but they have noted that nevertheless they still have that budget that was given after the pandemic for the TB.
Can I have one? Sorry. The other one is regarding in your local unit in Mandaluyong City. So I have noticed that there is little to no change in the guidelines and the guidelines and the protocols used. So did the cases in Mandaluyong City still rise? The TB cases has still risen even though we're using the same NTP guidelines?
In terms of treatment initiation, the protocol is the same. However, they saw the modifications in monitoring, as we've seen, particularly in the early parts of the pandemic, wherein they cannot, the patients cannot go to the health centers to receive the treatment daily. So we all know that they should go to the health center to get their medications daily. That's the only modification or one of the highlights in the modifications during the pandemic. For the actual result of the cases, so actually there was a decrease in the reporting of TB cases, which was expected, even not only in Mandaluyong but in the country. We saw a decrease in the reported cases of TB. As we all know, this is mainly due to the effect of the pandemic, wherein people cannot go to the health centers or consult. But after, during the latter parts of the pandemic, 2022 or 2023, the number of cases of TB in Mandaluyong is somehow at par with the national number or prevalence of tuberculosis.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any more questions? If not, I would like to ask you with the problem of the COVID-19, and as you know that in your barriers, because of staff shortage and also the staff has to spend a lot of time for DOT. Now they have introduced VDOT. VDOT is what we call a video directly observed therapy, where the staff need not to visit the patients, and then they can look at the video and then ask them to swallow the drug. And then they could record that the compliance is better. There are many systematic reviews that show that VDOT now is better than DOT because of the cost, the time, we have technology and this and that. I don't know whether Philippines use VDOT.
Thank you, Dr. Pratap, for that question comment. As far as I know, in the country, we're still not using video directly observed treatment short course, even after the pandemic. So all the more that we're back somehow to the pre-pandemic time, we revert back to the directly observed treatment short course. But The modification is that before we're in, they have to get it daily. Now they can provide it for a week or more than a week supply of anti-TB meds. But the video, particularly in far-flung areas, I think they cannot still do that. No? But in the city, there are some cities in the country wherein they are starting to do this modification.
I was thinking of the urban area,
Yeah.
because you are doing on urban area and all the thing. Thank you very much
Thank you.
for your presentation. Thank you.